Hello and welcome to Celerity Telecom. Today I'm going to showcase the MyDialer voice broadcast and auto dialer. You have the option, if you look here, to of course add your campaign. And with the MyDialer, you're able to either create a campaign from scratch or to actually clone or copy an existing campaign. For starters, let's go ahead and create a campaign from scratch. So as you saw, I clicked on the Add Campaign button, which is next to the Refresh button on the upper left corner. It'll create this little pop-up menu here, and you're going to click on Add New Campaign. All of these fields are, for the most part, self-explanatory, but I'll go ahead and break it down for you. Campaign name is the name of the actual campaign, and you can have it specific to whichever campaign, product, location, or anything that you want to call it. Test A, Test B, whatever you want to call it. For this sample, we're going to call it Miami Barbers. Now, allow inbound is giving the system understanding on how to treat inbound calls from prospects who are calling back the number that appeared on their cell phone in the event that they missed that call. So you can tell the dialer to either not ever allow that, to always allow it, or to only allow it if the campaign is active. There isn't a wrong or right way on how you actually do that, as there's different strategies. But for this example, I'll go ahead and say never allow an inbound. Campaign CID stands for Campaign Caller ID. That's the number that shows up on a prospect's cell phone or home phone or business phone. You can, of course, select any DIDs or numbers that were already purchased and added to your account. You can, of course, block the number so it doesn't show on anyone's device, or you can enter a number manually and have it reflect whichever you want it to be. For this example, let's go ahead and choose the DID that is in the actual campaign, in my actual MyDialer, excuse me. The max call per minute is telling the system how many calls to actually broadcast on a per minute basis. This is simply for the sake of creating the account so that you have a default setting. However, when you have your broadcast live and running, you can intuitively change this in real time, so you can either go fast or slow depending on the amount of calls or transfers that are coming through. Max calls attempt to each lead tells the system how many times to contact each individual lead. So for this example, I want my leads to be contacted at the most 7 times. But again, there is no wrong or right strategy. You can have it go up to 99 times. That is entirely up to you. You can also tell the system as well how long to wait in between each attempted contact. So under delay before reattempting, it's preset at 1 contact per day, or to wait a day for the next contact. But for my particular campaign, I want them to be contacted twice a day. So I'm going to go ahead and put the number 2. And since I want them contacted twice a day, I'm going to click on the drop-down menu here, and I can then dictate if I want it to be delayed every 2 minutes, or if I want it to be every 2 hours, 2 days, 2 months, or 2 years. But since I want it to be a contact attempt twice a day, I'm going to go ahead and set it up for every 2 hours. The call times is where you then have the system understand how you're going to contact those leads based on the lead's actual time zone. So since I'm here in Florida and I have California leads, I want to make sure that I am reaching them at peak time in California. So I'm going to have it set not from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'll go ahead and have it at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. so that even though it's 9 p.m. in Florida, it's 5 p.m. in California, and I know that's the last call that's going to be going out from MyDialer. The campaign type by default is a voice broadcast. However, the system does allow you to do auto dial. Just understand that the two differences is that the voice broadcast will play a pre-recorded message when the prospect answers their phone, while an auto dial does not play a pre-recorded message. It just simply connects the call when the prospect answers the phone and transfers it directly to you. Now, under voice broadcast message is where you will upload your pre-recorded message. Now, the cool thing about the MyDialer is that you don't have to worry about having to carry all of your pre-recorded messages when you move from device to device. So if you are a mobile agent and you have your cell phone, your soft phone, or you have a laptop, a desktop, or what have you, you don't have to drag all these files with you. The actual system will, in fact, once you upload it, hold it in the server, and you can then easily change the recording on a quick whim if you want to change the recording for a specific campaign. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to actually add a recording from scratch. So we're going to go ahead and click on the Add Audio button. Here's the platform where you can either drag and drop the file into this box, or you can, in fact, click on it and upload it and search through, the computer or your device to then select the file to be uploaded. Now, by default, you have the choice of either a WAV file or an MP3 file. I always recommend a WAV file because there are some prospects who are still using old equipment like a landline, and I know that the quality audio is better in WAV to reach out to those older systems. But if you don't care, an MP3 will work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this platform and select my pre-recorded message, which is PBX callback. Okay, give it a moment, it'll appear. But what's really cool as well is that once it actually appears, you can, in fact, review the recording and actually listen to the recording to make sure that it is the right file. And if you ever wanted to download the file, let's say you're on a different device, you can download the file and save it onto that device as well by clicking that download. Now, I can't stress this enough. On your pre-recorded message, you've already specified their press options. Press 1 to an agent, press 2 to be removed from this list, press 3 if you want a callback, or whatever number that you have it set up. I cannot stress that you must make sure that under the voice broadcast options, your options match the actual recording. So in my example here, my press 1, of course, by default, is to transfer to a live agent. So the 1 under the press digit will stay the same. The disposition will stay the same as a transfer. The method will be a DID. That is basically in plain terminology, that's the phone number you want it to be transferred to. And then, of course, you'll proceed to type in the number that you want the call to be transferred to. You can, in fact, transfer your press 1s or your warm leads to any destination, be it a cell phone, office phone, home phone, or even if you have a call center, a ring group, it can, in fact, actually be distributed that way as well. Now, when it comes to the method as well, there's other options. So instead of transferring to a number, you can also transfer to your agents that are logged into the MyDialer agent screen, or you can also set it up where it's transferred to any SIP channel. And of course, you would then type in whatever is the actual destination associated with your SIP. That, of course, is something that will be set up with our technicians, and they, of course, can handle fix that for you. Now, of course, let's go back to the example that it's a DID. All right. Now for the next option, which is option 2, I had the press option 2 digit, the press digit to be a number 2 to be scheduled as a callback. What happens is the lead will be notated by the dialer as a callback, and then the call is then disconnected, and you would then, of course, proceed to call them back. Now, the next option, of course, is do not call. So my press digit for that would be 3, and then the disposition will be DNC. Then again, the system will, of course, notate on that specific lead in the file that it was a DNC. They are then blocked from any attempted contact from this point forward, and the call will be disconnected. Once you have all of your options set up and everything is satisfactory to what you want it to be, all you got to do is just click on the Save button. And it will then give you the little pop-up saying that your campaign, Miami Barbers, has been successfully created. You'll click on the OK button. Now you're back to the dashboard. Now, as you can see, of course, I've got 4 other campaigns that are set up, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to upload the leads. To upload leads, you'll actually notice, excuse me, the blue upload cloud. So you'll click on that. And it'll actually create a window pop-up where you can, in the same example with the audio file, you can drag and drop the file here, or you can simply click on the actual box. I do want to make a note as well that we can only process files in CSV or comma separated values, and that's different from an Excel file, okay? So also, as it states here, the file must contain a minimum of 5 leads in order for the system to recognize the file. So I'm going to go ahead and click here, and I have some pre-selected leads that I'd like to upload. So let me go ahead and click on that. Now what's really cool is when you actually upload the file, you'll notice that it tells you the file name up here. If it's the wrong file, you can actually click on the orange button. It'll change. You'll then be able to map the different fields associated with your file. So as you see, there's column 0 and column 1. Column 0 is the name, the first name of the prospects. And as you saw in the fields section, I just dragged and dropped it into column 0, the first name. And then you see column 1, which is the numbers. I'm going to go ahead and grab the phone and drag that over column 1. And that basically tells the system how to treat each column's data and, of course, know which is the actual numbers to call. Under check duplicated numbers, you can, in fact, see that there is, by default, it's selected on none, but you can check to make sure that you're not calling duplicates based on the list that is being uploaded, based on the campaign that you have already set with previous lists, or against your entire account, and it'll check all the different campaigns and all the different lists to make sure that it's not they're not being contacted multiple times. By default, it's none. Since this is a new list of leads, I'm going to go ahead and click none and click on the green upload and process button. And as you can see, it gives you the import review, which gives you at 100%. What was processed was 5, 4 successfully were added, 1 failed. And then, of course, you have your dupes, DB, which is the duplicates in your database, which is 0, duplicates in your file is 0, and DNC is 0. And you can then close out of that. Now, if you give it a moment, it will actually reflect the number of leads that were, in fact, uploaded, and you can see that here. And as you see here on the dashboard, it shows you the title of the campaign, Miami Barbers, caller ID, which is whatever shows up on prospects' phones, and where it's being transferred to, the CPM, which is preset at 30. But again, as the campaign is running, you can, in fact, change it in real time. And you have, of course, your play button under actions. You've got your edit pen here. You've got your upload cloud if you want to upload more leads, and the more actions menu. If you click on the more actions menu, it does create an additional pop-out menu to your right, which is really neat. You can basically do all the same functionalities under actions, but it's a little more visually represented here with actual text, so just in case you ever forget what those icons mean. Now, let me go ahead and just show you what it looks like when you're running a campaign in real time. And since I already have legitimate campaigns already set, I'm going to go ahead and set this to run. And I have MyDialer B, health insurance, and MyDialer A, health insurance. As the calls are actually going in under statuses, you will see what is really going on with your dialer. So each thing is stipulated by a specific color. You can see how many are being rang, how many are actually listening to the calls, how many are do not calls, meaning they're added to the DNC list, how many were transferred, who were no answers, who were no responses, and so forth. If I want to stop the campaign, all I have to do is click on the stop button. And that basically shows exactly the functionality of the MyDialer. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to following up with you.